it's more important to stay human. So today, I'm going to show you the greatest moments of respect in sports. After losing a match, this wrestler burst into tears and it broke her opponent's heart.
Losing her mom, certainly you know that Helen knows all of to come and wrestle, and she rocketed through the Challenger tournament to get
She had just lost her mother and was saying, "I'm sorry, Mom," for her defeat on the mat. Security stopped this kid right before his dreams came true. But watch as the soccer player rushes to the boy's defense. Isaac Marquez had always dreamed of becoming a real fighter, and when UFC fighter Diego Sanchez found out, he set up a real fight for Isaac with a real victory. After suffering a defeat, this wrestler couldn't even stand up on his own. But then his opponent does this for him. This young man dreamed of playing soccer, but he never could have imagined he'd play one-on-one with the legendary Javi.
Yes! Very good, my friend. Fantastic, eh? Very good.
This runner had no chances of winning after suffering an injury, but he continued to soldier on. His father couldn't stand to see his son in such pain and rushed to his aid despite the rules. Justin Gatlin had always dreamed of doing the impossible and beating the legendary Usain Bolt. And when he finally succeeded, his reaction speaks for itself.
And Usain Bolt in his final individual race runs 9.95 seconds for bronze.
A fan becomes hysterical at the sight of her idol, Ronaldo, so he tries to calm her down. Rick Hoyt's son dreamt of competing in a triathlon, but everyone thought it was impossible because of his cerebral palsy. But Rick didn't care. He made his son's dream come true by literally carrying him throughout the race. A runner was just a few steps away from the finish line when his body stopped obeying him. It was the perfect opportunity for his competitors, but not everyone took advantage of it.
And now, oh, this is lovely. This is what sports should be all about. This is trying to be oh, that's a civil shepherd, I think.
Keep him away.
That's shepherd called carry him.
Now the medics
They should please not rush there.
This young fan wanted to get a photo with Messi, but the security guards wouldn't let him pass. But Messi saw the crying boy and couldn't just walk past.
Lágrimas estalló, en lágrimas, más mesianos que Messi. Y no le preguntan a Messi si quiere sacarse la foto, si quiere firmar el autógrafo. Ahí está el nene. Mira.
After a collision, Sebastian Vettel stalled out in the middle of the track.
Is that possible? Stroll is not looking where he's...
But to everyone's surprise, Pascal Wehrlein decided to help him off. He's the real winner. For this racer, no race matters when there's a woman in need. 5,000-meter race turned out to be too much for one runner, so his opponent brought him to the finish line.
A huge ovation for this massive have finished the 5,000 meters.
Winning doesn't matter when it comes to dignity. This young fan ran onto the field to meet his idol, and instead of asking security to take the kid out, Neymar hugged him and told security to back off. And then he even went a step further. This exhausted athlete nearly fell just before the finish line and was ready to give up, but his brother wouldn't let that happen. He helped him finish in second place. This team lost one of its members, and now he's scoring his final goal before he leaves forever. Chase Elliott won his first NASCAR race, but ran out of gas and couldn't even make it to the podium. And then Jimmy Johnson decided to give him a push.
Coming at the hands of Chase Elliott.
All this 12-year-old boy wanted was to wrestle in a real match, but his paralysis meant he had no chance of winning. Now look at what his opponent did.
Ordinary wrestling match between two 7th graders, with one boy defeating the other. But on this day, both of these 12-year-old victors, and to call this extraordinary doesn't even begin to describe these guys' parts. Courage and character and a remarkable.
With just 18 meters to go, this runner began to collapse from exhaustion, something her opponents could have taken advantage of, but they didn't.
So she can finish the race. That's what the sport is, our own position to help another athlete finish what they started, and that's the true sportsmanship.
This cameraman accidentally almost broke Usain Bolt's $32 million legs. He could have had to answer for it in court, but instead, they became friends. When an ambulance stalled right in the middle of the field, opponents from both sides teamed up to save a life. Even the fastest person in the world knows that sometimes you just have to slow down and make others happy. This boy's gonna wear that hat all year round. When you referee a match with your beloved one, you can cheer each other up in a very touching way. Ronaldo accidentally hit a fan right in the face with the ball. To make up for it, the soccer player decided to give him a special gift.
А вот он подарил футболку этому человеку, которому разбил нос. Красивый жест, правда?
This athlete's pole broke during her vault, but she didn't have a spare pole for a second attempt, so her opponent decided to share hers.
Really fortunately, the chat, what's going on down there?
Essentially an international club. And she's over.
This fighter could have just finished off his opponent, but his respect for him was much stronger than his thirst for victory. One athlete had the misfortune of falling just before the finish line, but she didn't give up and finished the race on one leg. Other athletes immediately ran over to check if she was okay. This volleyball player took a spike directly to the face and was ready to burst into tears, but her teammates and coach reacted immediately and didn't let her give up. All these racers gathered for one thing: to honor the memory of a colleague who would never be able to ride with them on the same track again. For Neymar, these are just cleats, but for one of his fans, they are the greatest gift ever. Look, now he's being interviewed like a real star. During a charity rugby league match, a 4-year-old kid ran onto the field hoping to get a closer look at his idols, but he never expected to become part of the team. This ball boy always wanted a photo with his favorite soccer player, but instead went down in history as part of the team, all thanks to Ronaldo's kindness. Niels Vink just took Paralympic gold, and nothing can stop him from sharing this win with his coach. This guy has already run 100 marathons pushing a wheelchair in front of him. Because it's the only way his mother can feel alive again. Jermaine Defoe's career has had many challenges, but the most difficult of them was losing his good luck charm, 6-year-old Bradley Lowery. The young boy spent all of his free time with the team as he battled an incurable disease. He eventually lost this battle, but Defoe mourned the child as if he were his own.
What I've been through previously with my dad.
For more than 40 years, Ginger Mark was the most devoted fan of the Dutch soccer club Feyenoord, until a disease left him with only a month to live. All he wanted was to see them practice one more time, but the team, along with 6,000 fans, turned this day into a farewell tribute to him. It even gave him the strength to stand up one last time. This may look like an ordinary touchdown, and then Marquise Goodwin drops to his knees, overcome with emotion. It turned out that just an hour before the game, his wife had lost their first child. All he could do now was pray for him. Alexander Sobolev has had many goals in his career, but none of them were as significant as the one dedicated to his recently deceased mother. Rugby star Jonah Lomu lived a short but decent life. Just look at all the love and respect that this stadium-sized brotherhood radiates as they perform one last haka for him. A single shot unexpectedly won this man $75,000, but that didn't thrill him half as much as the reaction of the legendary LeBron James. His support meant more than money. This kid couldn't believe his luck when his favorite player signed a ball for him. So just imagine his shock when Josh Donaldson decided to play catch with him. This little girl tried her best to get her favorite player's attention, and she finally succeeded, but her father decided to make his sons happy first. Fortunately for her, Brett Connolly wasn't gonna give up. Interrupted his match when he found out that 7-year-old Kiara Grindrod was in attendance. This girl had already won her greatest fight when she beat cancer,
but every single person outside the ring and around the world,
for which Cena wanted to personally congratulate her. Some young soccer players had lost not just a team member, but a true friend. By tradition, the team plays a farewell game where the fallen gets to score their final goal. Here's how a war vet with a prosthetic leg runs the 42-kilometer Boston Marathon. And it was all to show people in the same situation that their lives are not over, that they can do anything. Doctors allowed the very sick children from Rotterdam's Sophia Children's Hospital to attend a soccer match. Upon hearing of this, Excelsior fans decided to make this day unforgettable for the kids. After Edmund injured his leg, his opponent could have begun celebrating victory, but instead, Dimitrov rushed to help. Jimmy Johnson's car crashed, and he had no idea how to get through the 4-kilometer track to reach the starting line safely, until his friend Dale Earnhardt Jr. went out of his way to give him a lift. Now, watch as Nelson Piquet does the same for his opponents back in 1986. It's been over 35 years, and there are still drivers just as cool. Robbie Heil dreamed of playing on a football team, but his opportunities were limited because of his Down syndrome. Until this day. The team gave Robbie a chance, and he scored a touchdown, all for his mom, who was fighting cancer. It's been 70 years since 89-year-old veteran Brian Sperry played football on a college campus, but today, thanks to students at the University of Kansas, he's back on the field to make the most satisfying run in for a touchdown. This ball boy was terrified of the aggressive fans behind him, but Romero Regales immediately stepped in to help the young man. This 5-year-old Messi fan's family was so poor that their son had to make his own jersey from a bag. Imagine his surprise when the famous soccer player sent him a gift so that he could walk out on the field with him. Jeje Eustaquio lost a fight and knelt before his opponent to acknowledge defeat, but he certainly wasn't expecting a mutual reaction from Adriano Moraes. For these two, mutual respect is more important than victory. No matter how famous Ronaldo is, he's always a beloved son to his mother, first and foremost. A goal dedicated to her was the best show of gratitude he could offer. Just look at how proud of him she is. 4th grader Braden Vasco lost his hair after chemotherapy and was depressed about his appearance. But then, the school's entire football team supported him in a very touching way. For these children who can't walk, players from the best teams in the world put on special equipment to help them feel what it's like to play soccer. Their steps became a child's steps, and each goal took on a special meaning. 2 opposing teams stopped their game to help push a fire truck back onto the road. How can a competition matter when there are people who need help? When Sarah Tucholsky lost her leg while running the bases, it was game over for her. But her opponents refused to accept her defeat and carried her through each of the remaining bases in their arms. Steven Adams had a great opportunity to score a goal for his team, but instead he tended to his opponent and saved him from serious injury. This is the real goal of being an athlete. While this guy decided to lash out emotionally after losing a game, the player on his team showed him that you can lose and still remain a person. A huge fan of the New York Rangers, young Emma Larson has had to battle through adversity throughout her life. So the team decided to make her life a celebration, at least for one day. All this player cared about after a collision on the field was the well-being of his opponent, and the help he rendered literally saved the man's life. This dance could have been the last for this couple. But everything worked out, and we will see them on the ice again. Collision with Dimitri Payet cost Cristiano Ronaldo Euro 2016 final, and he just couldn't hold back the tears while saying goodbye to his team. This girl got incredibly excited when her favorite football player came very close to her. She even has a phone case with his picture on it. It was an extremely tense Wimbledon finale, and when Simona Halep finally won, she immediately rushed to hug her rival, Serena Williams. It's just a few extra minutes on the field for Neymar, but to his little fan, it's gonna be the most important childhood memory. And when that female team needed a worthy opponent, Neymar agreed to replace the whole opponent team by himself. And he didn't go easy on them, like a true pro. Tanya Harding looked absolutely devastated when her performance was ruined because her laces suddenly broke up. Fortunately, she was able to convince the judges to give her a second chance. And this is what a real athlete does when his opponent is physically unable to leave the field in front of hundreds of spectators. This volleyball player missed a spike and almost burst into tears, but all her teammates and coach reacted instantly and didn't let her give up. If you were wondering how many cheerleaders could fit in a small car, the answer is 20. And they had to show a lot of respect for each other to make that Guinness record possible. Don't try this yourself. The race lasted only 20 seconds for these two Porsches, but thanks to the professionalism of both drivers, no one was hurt and they helped each other to get out of the situation. A cheerleader named Angela thought that her job was just to keep motivating the team and the crowd, but she didn't know that she was about to become the star of the evening. Rafael Nadal found it quite difficult to focus on the match in such company, but went through it as a professional athlete. And this jumper ended her first try in tears, and not of joy. But she didn't hurt herself and got all the support she needed. And this fan knows how to support her favorite team not only in the stands, but in the media as well. When a coach gets a surprise phone call from the mother of one of his players, everyone holds their breath in anticipation of bad news. But in fact, the young man has just received a scholarship. Another player on his team was surprised that a pizza delivery man was looking for him to report that he had also gotten a scholarship too. This little fan gave Jadon Sancho a pair of shin guards that he had designed with his father. The player promised that he would always wear them at his games. Anthony Knockaert has scored many goals in his career, but this one was the most meaningful because he dedicated it to his father's memory.
Seals the win for the Albion, the championship table with half a season gone. Brighton and Hove Albion, a picture of his dad.
Today, students at this school are waiting for a special guest, but when LeBron James himself shows up, they can't believe their eyes. After all, he's the real hero who opened their school with his charitable donations. Nothing could stop this guy from doing karate, not even cerebral palsy. After many long and difficult training sessions, he's finally getting a patch on his belt. Look at how much it means to him. After Morocco's historic victory over Portugal, Sofiane Boufal couldn't wait another minute and went straight onto the field to celebrate the victory with his mother. And Adrian Luna dedicated this important goal to his 6-year-old daughter, who now watches her father play from heaven. This little fan thought he could never keep a ball spinning on his finger, but Lucius Winston showed him that nothing is impossible. Head coach Greg Popovich became the greatest coach in NBA history with 1,336 regular season wins. Then his team decided to swarm him and celebrate the tremendous honor. And this is Ripken, the university's mascot. Before the start of each game, Ripken gives paw to all the players for good luck. But that's not all. Ripken also helps bring the baseball bats, supports the players, and isn't afraid to compete with other mascots. A mom is always a mom, even if her sons play for different teams in the Super Bowl. She'll have to celebrate victory with one and console the other after defeat. During a match, this ball kid faces an unexpected challenge when she finds a huge beetle in her way. But Stefanos Tsitsipas comes to his assistant's rescue and helps her avoid the insect. When Stefan Diggs first met 5-year-old Aiden, he found out that the boy had recently lost his father. So when they met again, Stefan gave the boy custom sneakers with an embroidered photo of him and his father with the inscription, "I love you, Nick." Damn it, who's cutting onions around here? Even though wrestlers fight each other, they're actually quite friendly people outside the ring. For example, they decided to congratulate Randy Orton's daughter on her birthday. Soccer player Jack Grealish met his biggest fan, and the boy asked him to do his victory dance. And Grealish did the dance after scoring a goal in the middle of the match. Later, they had a phone call, and the boy's joy was impossible to describe. This woman lost her son, but she continued to attend his team's games. And they always hug her before each game to remind her that her son will always be a part of their team. A father couldn't hold back his tears of pride when he saw his son's debut in a professional soccer club. To honor their first win, the boy decided to give his father a souvenir as a keepsake, because he will always be his most devoted fan. After his team wins the game, number 3 could have gone to celebrate with everyone else, but he did quite the opposite and took time to console the opposing team in a show of the utmost sportsmanship. During a tennis tournament, Grigor Dimitrov gives this young fan the opportunity to play against Roger Federer himself. Imagine his surprise when the boy makes the perfect lob shot and scores on the legend. A football coach got a better job offer from another school, so he gathers everyone in the gym to announce that he's staying. And on that day, the impossible happened. Muhammad Ali finally met his match in the ring and lost. When a father posted a video about how his 3-year-old daughter loves to watch games with Joel Embiid, he never expected that the Sixers would invite their whole family to a game where she could see her idol in the flesh. During a rally, driver Stefan Lefebvre ended up in a ditch. Fans couldn't just stand by and do nothing, so they came together as a team and pulled their favorite racer's car out. Even though Ronaldo doesn't play for Real Madrid anymore, fans of the club still showed their support when the soccer player lost his son. And here's how rival fans of Arsenal showed their support. Despite his cerebral palsy, 11-year-old Samuel's only dream was to play soccer, and he was given a unique chance to visit the Manchester United Academy. The club's best goalkeeper will remember this day forever.
The hair gave me an actual glow.
This pitcher made a game-winning pitch, but instead of celebrating with his teammates, he decided to console his childhood friend, because he knows that friendship is more important than winning. When a young man scores his first touchdown, he dedicates it to his younger brother, and it touches him to the core. Chloe Kim was hungry and tired, but she didn't leave her fans. In the middle of an interview, she politely asks for a bite to eat, and her fans give her an entire dinner of snacks.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, thank you.
This soccer team came out on the field holding homeless dogs to show support for the local shelter and fight for the rights and lives of pets that don't have a home. Tennis superstar Rafael Nadal was about to serve during a match, but he stopped the game in front of a crowd of 7,000 people because a child was lost in the stands. The poor girl was found and returned to her mother, and fans were touched by the tennis player's good deed. Fans saw a lonely David Beckham on top of the stadium and decided to cheer him up by giving him a special chant. Suddenly, he didn't seem so lonely. And this good boy decided to help his owner in a karate competition. Or he wasn't allowed in because he already has a black belt. And here we can see the cycle of kindness play out with a foul ball.
Was kind enough to toss it into the grandstand. And that fly ball is all yours. Look at that.
Heartwarming story. During the weigh-in meeting, Simon Schuster decided to surprise everyone by giving his opponent a taste of baklava. This shot for the cameras while chewing baklava is priceless. This guy just couldn't seem to score a basket from under the hoop no matter how he tried. Then an opponent showed him respect by giving him the ball, and he finally did it. These fathers came to a high school game to support their cheerleader daughters. You can tell where these girls got their skills. Little Ali Amir loved soccer his whole life, and all he ever dreamed about was meeting his idol. And one day, that dream came true when Amir got the chance to meet and play with Ronaldo. This is when Johnny Howson notices this poor pigeon on the field and decides to show his kindness by pausing the game to help the bird. After Stefanos Tsitsipas gave a souvenir to his fans, he came back to the stands again, but this time to retrieve a handbag that a lady had dropped onto the court. Jo-Wilfried Tsonga noticed that one of the ball kids wasn't feeling well. He immediately reacted and made sure that she got some help. Overflowing with happiness, a kid decides to hug his idol. But when Shaq sees the young man being led away, he tells the bodyguards to let him in and take a picture. In 40 years of attending baseball games, this woman never managed to catch a foul ball. But the baseball gods finally sent her this guy who gives her the souvenir of her dreams. This baseball player meets his oldest fan, and in return for her love and support, he gives her a gift that truly warms her heart.
He just gave her
This girl's guardian angel goes to the same gym as her. A game was stopped because the net got tangled. But in case you didn't know, not only can cheerleaders cheer, they can also save the game. When soccer player Rachel Daly suffered a heat stroke, her opponents could have taken advantage of the situation, but instead, they were the first to come to her aid. Iowa Hawkeyes fans have the coolest tradition in all of football. Before every game, 70,000 fans turn and wave at kids in the hospital next to the stadium. While the entire Buffalo Bills team was preparing for a game, Stefon Diggs decided to get a buddy from the stands to help him warm up, and he made this boy's day unforgettable. Even though this gymnast is determined to succeed, he isn't afraid to fail at all, because he knows that Coach Nick will always be there to save his life. And one wrong move here could end a gymnast's career. That is, if not for her coach's quick reflexes. Conor McGregor has had many scandals throughout his career, but this is the new Conor, who pays respects to his opponent after beating him and even thanks his grandmother. After finishing an Ironman marathon, a runner decides to propose to his girlfriend and gets a cramp at that very moment. But these guys support him so he can finally hear the much anticipated answer. Yes. When none of this boy's friends showed up for his birthday, the local football team took their place. I bet his friends regret not coming now. At this game, Steph Curry approaches a fan and apologizes for missing the game in Denver where she had been looking forward to seeing him. Then, the basketball player gives the girl an autographed photo and tells her to smile more often. A tennis player falls on his back during a match and gets covered with clay. But instead of warming up, his opponent comes over and helps him get cleaned up. This baseball player broke the system but made this boy very happy. He walked up to the stands and asked for the young fan's autograph on a photo with him. After a long, hard game, this goalkeeper was exhausted and even more upset. But despite his favorite team losing, this fan runs onto the field to console the player. Here's what happens when your referee is also a big fan. Ricardo Kaká gets a yellow card, but can't turn down a selfie from the referee. And of course, he doesn't want a red card. This gymnast's coach was the first to realize that her incredible jump didn't go according to plan and was prepared to do anything to help her. Volleyball player Zehra Güneş never worries about her health because her trainer is always there to take care of her. When this gymnast's maneuver ended in total failure, she just couldn't handle it. But thanks to the support of her team, she was able to pull herself together.
She's up. Oh goodness, that looked bad for a moment when she didn't move.
And that was our last round for the day. Be sure to tell us in the comments which moment touched you the most. When you're done, click the like and subscribe buttons. That way we know you want more. See you in the next video.